Hey Leute und herzlich willkommen zurück zu The Counselor. So, in der letzten Folge haben wir uns hier im Zimmer umgesehen, haben einen Hinweis nach den anderen gefunden und es geht weiter in der Bibel. Die Paulusbriefe haben wir jetzt alle durch, die Pastoralbriefe. Ich weiß nicht mehr, was hatten wir da? Hatten wir Pastoralbriefe? Auf die Offenbarung hatten wir. Eigentlich hatten wir nur die Offenbarung. Hier war links von ihm, in Gesellschaft der Pilger, die sich ihm angeschlossen haben. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wer sich ihm angeschlossen hat.
And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin.
Ups, das wollte ich nicht.
If we say that we
Wenn halt
have
nicht immer
no
ganz
sin,
rausgehen würde.
we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. Hereby know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Okay, Johannes war es nicht. Jakobus.
What doth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him?
Einmal Arsch.
Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unsoiled by the world.
So, einer ist noch, dann haben wir Jakobus auch durch.
Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, and neither tempteth he any man.
Jetzt haben wir nur Petrus.
Or what man is there of you, whom, if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold, from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers. For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
Ich versteh's nicht. Echt, ich versteh's nicht. Das war ja dieser Paulus.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio.
Ist da noch irgendein Hinweis? Den Rahmen haben wir schon, das Gemälde untersuchen. Ne, das hatten wir schon alles. Und hier war nichts mehr, ne? Links von ihm in Gesellschaft der Pilger, die sich ihm angeschlossen haben. Das sind die Apostel.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the
Okay, sag auch nichts mehr Neues.
dust. Take heed that ye
Kann man mit die
practice
durchgehen?
your justice before men, to be seen differently by them. Otherwise, ye shall have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
Dann haben wir eigentlich alles durch.
But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
Okay, Matthäus ist es auch nicht. Lukas?
And it came to pass the day after, that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and much people. And so many came, and couldn't find the body of the Lord Jesus. And so it was, that, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
Luki ist es auch nicht, dann gehen wir auf Johannes.
He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha. I and my Father are one.
Oh, es ging schnell.
Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches.
Okay, Markus, du
And it
bist
came to
letzte
pass
Woche.
in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee, and was baptized by John in Jordan.
Das hatte ich auch schon, oder?
And as they did eat, Jesus took bread, and blessed it,
Ja, ist mit Leib.
and
Ja, ich
broke
glaube, das hatten wir schon.
and gave it to them, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet.
Das allerletzte.
Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
Okay, in der Bibel ist überhaupt nichts mehr.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible.
Das hatten wir ja schon. Hier ist nichts. Das hatten wir auch schon komplett untersucht.
There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
Das hatten wir vorher, ne? Das hatten wir auch schon. Geh raus, dann geh raus!
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Das muss alles in den einen Raum da sein. Hier ist nichts.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Okay.
St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come? This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. While a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust, I can read the number 4. St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. Strange. St. Paul is shown twice, unlike the other disciples. Of the 4 apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Und was soll man das jetzt sagen? Nichts mehr.
St. Paul is
yeah.
a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame.
Das hatten wir schon, ne?
Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? Strange.
Ach, das wollte ich jetzt
St.
nicht.
Paul is shown twice, unlike the other disciples. So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe?
Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich stehe voll auf der Leitung. Die anstrengendste Stelle bis jetzt. Oh, ich hänge fest. Oh, jetzt komme ich raus wieder. Oh. Nee. Hier oben ist ja nichts mehr zu anklicken und in dem Buch ist nichts mehr. Apostelgeschichte. 11?
Then they suborned men, which said, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against God."
Nee. Das ist tatsächlich was ich nicht gelesen habe.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready,
Theologe.
he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here.
Oh, Gott sei
A
Dank.
message from Mother in reply to E. We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message. What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare.
Oh Gott sei Dank ist fertig.
What does she mean by that?
Es ist wahrscheinlich allegorisch gemeint. Es ist wahrscheinlich wörtlich gemeint. Boah.
I'm guessing it's a metaphor. I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Nachricht aus der Bibel. Danke. Und raus hier. Oh, es ist fertig. Es ist fertig. Ich habe die Nachricht meiner Mutter nicht verstanden. Ja, was soll ich machen? Nein. Ah, ich bin jetzt belesen. 3 noch. So, jetzt habe ich alle Fähigkeiten freigeschalten. War 12 Punkte, um Stufe 3 zu erreichen. Mal gucken, dass überall Level 2 jetzt wäre. Alle Punkte entfernt. Bestätigen. Space. Boom. Errungenschaft freigeschaltet. Tragisches Schicksal. So, was werden wir nun nehmen? Befragung, belesen, Ablenkung, Etikette, Politik, Logik, Etikette. Okkultismus, noch eins dazu. 2 Punkte, vielleicht Etikette, wenn es geben würde, dann hätte ich da auch ein Level up. Schauen wir, ob es 2 Etikette gibt. Einmal. Zweimal. Universalgenie, Dankeschön.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
Maximum ist zum 1 erhöht. Dort habe ich auch alles. Jetzt einfach auswählen. Ja, das ist sehr geil. Das ist ein Punkt Psychologie. Aufmerksamkeit, Gewandtheit, Psychologie, subtil. 2 Punkte Befragung. Das ist auch gleich fertig. Eine Konfrontation brauche ich nur mehr. Und dann muss ich einmal eine versauen noch. Also du hast einen Punkt Sprachen auch. Ey, das ist nicht gut. Triff dich mit den anderen Gästen im kleinen Wohnzimmer. Das ist im Eingangsbereich, oder? Ja, kann untergehen.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
It must have been Emma I saw in my vision. I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
Sie nicht auf Mutter Spur bringen. Manipulation ist nicht, oder? Ich habe wieder vergessen, was ist ihre Immunität gegen Logik, aber Psychologie ist die Schwäche. Und den Nachrichten erzählen.
I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
Ablenkung? Nee, machen wir das.
It might be a place, I don't know where, but it's a lead.
You ought to ask His Eminence. He knows the house and its estate very well, being a frequent visitor here.
Thanks for the advice.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Ja, sie sollte es schon wissen, finde ich. Weil wenn sie es im Nachhinein rausfindet und sie weiß, dass ich es ihr nicht gesagt habe, könnte es schlecht ausgehen.
Emily, there's something else.
Go on then.
It's about your sister. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's possible that my mother had a go at her.
I know, Louis. I found out that same evening. Well, thanks for not trying to hide it.
Oh, siehst du?
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know I can. It seems that your mother tricked Emma. She apparently asked her to hide an important book, so that even she wouldn't know where it was. And then she shot her like a dog to make sure no one would ever find it again.
Ja, woher
How
ist das?
did you find out?
Sir Gregory told me on my arrival.
I'm sincerely sorry, Emily.
Thank you, Louis. But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
There must be an explanation, Emily.
That's what we shall see.
Streittür.
Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
Oh, this is the Gast.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined. What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh, dear.
Oh, as if...
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Die Lagerbrühen kosten mir gar nichts.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured, the response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Der ist aber auch immer ruhig.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you, too.
Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
Oha.
He looks concerned.
Einzige Chance.
I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
So, zuerst die Schwächen raussuchen von Wöllner. Ablenkung. Ja, nicht Okkultismus. Befragung. Ablenkung.
To hear you speak, you seem to know my mother well.
Not really. We met for the first time on this very spot, some weeks back. We had a very pleasant discussion. She's an exceptionally learned lady, with a good head for business. No need for me to tell you that.
Ja, also
I agree.
Did she tell you about our arrangement?
Psychologie. Manipulation.
The
Cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me.
Ah, das ist der Käufer.
And she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
Was weißt du, das ist eine Schwäche? Gott, ich kann es mich merken. Ablenkung. Das?
I found one.
Quite old? With locks on every chapter?
Oh no, I'm sorry, sir. This one is the Mysterium Cosmographicum, a book she is particularly fond of.
Oh, no. That's not the one.
Poor man's disgusted. I shouldn't play with his nerves. I'll look again. You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Ich manipulieren. Ja.
Indeed. My mother and I had a brush with this individual just a few months ago.
What about?
About an object stolen from the Order a few years ago, which my mother wanted to recover.
This situation comes as a great surprise to me.
I got him now. I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Wollner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Wollner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess.
Nee, nicht für den König. Weiß ich, Mutter. Warte mal holen. Ach, scheiße. Mann, Mortimer wäre zu offensichtlich. König von Preußen? Nee. Das ist ein Holm.
It's Sir Gregory.
Correct.
Ja.
You ought to know then. He is not a man who likes to be duped. You are walking on thin ice, sir.
Ja, wo soll ich ihn jetzt suchen? Ach, ich weiß, Leute, das machen wir mit der nächsten Folge. Danke fürs Zusehen. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst ein Like, einen Kommentar da und wir sehen uns dann wieder bei der nächsten Folge. Tschüss.